Hi, hello viewers. Welcome to ECPED Infotech. B.Ed second year Creating an Inclusive School UnitWise Question Bank பார்க்கலாம். Creating an Inclusive School. What is visual impairment? Explain the various types of visual impairment. Second, define mental retardation and explain any three important causes of it. Third, distinguish between cognitive approach and sensory approach used for identifying children with disabilities. Fourth, explain the ways and advantages of using rehabilitation model for serving the disabled. Fifth, explain the role of special teachers in promoting inclusive education. Sixth, differentiate inclusive education from integrated and special school education. Seventh, explain any three welfare schemes promulgated by the government for the welfare of the disabled. Eighth, difference between inclusive, integrated and special education. Ninth, what is hearing impairment? Explain any three signs and symptoms of hearing loss. 10th, explain the provisions made by educators for effective classrooms practice for students with visual impairment. 11th, define mental retardation and explain various types of mental retardation. 12th, what is dyslexia? Explain any three common characteristics of dyslexia. 13. What is cognitive approach? Explain any three principles involved in the cognitive approach to disability. 14. Define medical model of disability. Explain two disadvantages of the medical model. 15. What do you mean by inclusive education? Explain any three barriers related to inclusive education. 16. What are the overcoming the barriers in inclusive education? 17. What are the strategies of implementing inclusive education? 18. What is disability? Explain the characteristic of disabilities. 19. Explain the types of disabilities. 20. Briefly explain the kinds of learning disabilities. 21. Write a short note on social model and medical model. 22. Discuss the barriers in inclusive education. 23. What is integrated and special education? Explain. 24. Discuss the merits and demerits of inclusive education programs in India. 25. Define hearing impairment. AAIDD. Write the causes and preventing of hearing impairment. 26. Differentiate sensory approach and society-based approach. 27. What is learning disability? Explain the role of teacher in managing students with learning disabilities. 28. Describe the individual model, human rights model and rehabilitation model of disability. 29. What is inclusive education? Write about the barriers to inclusive education. 30. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of inclusive education for children with mental retardation. 31. What are the principles of curriculum development of National Curriculum Framework 2005? இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்துச்சுன்னா மறக்காம ஈஸி பிஎட் இன்ஃபோடெக் அப்படிங்கிற சேனலை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணி பெல் பட்டனை கிளிக் பண்ணுங்க, லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க. தேங்க்யூ ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்.